last time we left off, you were all traversing into the Arboretum. Now, it's been a little while, but the last place you had been was specifically going to see the Soulsmith. And while you had a fairly terrifying run-in with this individual, you had made your way back above in order to go speak with a individual you had met, one of the Stitchers. And this individual who was basically almost compelled to bring the bodies of the dead back together. And at which point they eventually would be given their sentience back and be made alive once more, albeit not fully alive. Now, you know this, and you know that these individuals don't seem particularly evil, but there is a entity that seems to plague each one of them, giving them direction on how to do all of this, as well as insisting that they go about doing this. And while you've actually taken full advantage of these situations on two occasions, you've pretty much managed to, you know, get fully rested, as the Undying have had wanted nothing to do with these entities. And it's been made clear that you're effectively able to freely roam in these areas only because you're alive. And that said, you would gain some more information, particularly on the acolytes of the bitter flesh. You had come to find that they had made their way by the tower, speaking with the individual there, and only for you to find out that they were trading information of sorts. And that's actually how you ended up encountering the group of acolytes at the Soul Forge. And having met them, they seem to be very intent on trying to regain or reforge their souls. That had never come to pass, as they had all pretty much died horrifically in different scenarios as you had made your way through these trials. But upon exiting, you have more of a curiosity in heading into the Arboretum, only because you know that the acolytes of the bitter flesh supposedly call this place home of a kind. And your first steps in had resulted in, well, some very, very
Come here
strange
into the
things you had seen. Everywhere you look, it appears as if the plants that once existed here have succumbed to some kind of disease or rot. And looking on at them, they almost look like they've been turned into flesh. And noticing this and not particularly wanting to have anything to do with it, you would also note it that it rains here constantly, ceaselessly, in fact. While it wasn't raining anywhere else that you had been previously, it was just this dry dust bowl of an environment just a short while ago. This was completely different. Everything is moist and damp, and you
Hmm.
can see that there are puddles that have built up all over. And the residue that's lingering inside of them makes it clear that this water is not pure. And especially considering you had gone about collecting some of it yourself, you would come to the realization it is tainted in some way or another. Um, with that knowledge in mind, you had also determined that there was very few ways forward in here, and following the main thoroughfare you would come upon a gate leading into another section of the arboretum, only for it to be completely and totally blocked off by a large growth of this flesh-like plant substance, whatever it might be, that essentially covered this section of wall. None of you wanted to have anything to do with hacking away with it or getting rid of it. You just wanted to get around it. And that said, you had gone on to make your way through some back alley areas, at which point you would discover a market of sorts. And going into the stalls, you would go about finding that it was, in fact, a magical dagger you had found. I'm going to be honest, I do not remember who has that, but somebody
Timber
did
does.
find. Yep, you had found a magical dagger. And in addition to that, heading away from this market, you would notice that there were growths of kinds happening in this market. And you had realized that the the growths that you were seeing, they definitely had things coming out of them in the form of fingers or skulls. And you'd realize this is why there are no undying that you've seen here, is that whatever this substance is, whatever this affliction that's occurred to the plants, is also affecting the undying in a way. And you're not entirely sure why this is happening, but what you do know is that the acolytes of the bitter flesh have clearly taken advantage of whatever this malady might be, in that they seem to be subsisting here. However, you haven't run across any of them. You haven't seen any. The only thing that you managed to encounter after you had left this market area was a strange puddle that had quickly made its way upon Gendry, sucking him essentially into this strange, almost pocket dimension of water. At which point he had drastically fought with it along with the rest of you, pulling him back to the surface. And its trap of trying to get something, some living entity that needed to breathe inside of this dimension, had miserably failed, as Gendry was the perfect target not to grab, as he had easily overcome this with his racial and not had the need to breathe. That said, you had made quick work of it after you had retrieved Gendry. That is where we left off. You were still making your way through these back, alleys, and you were attempting to get around this section of wall. What do you guys want to do?
I'm glad Gendry doesn't like weighs 10,000 pounds and just sinks to the bottom of that place.
100%. I will say really quick, if I suddenly disappear, we're getting storms. There's like 20,000
Hey, me
people
too.
without power right now towards Molia
Yeah.
and stuff. So, and the storm's going over us right now. But if I suddenly disappear, my power might have gone out. But for now, I'm good though.
Okay. Well, we're gonna blame you if we die.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It was probably because of me too.
Actually, I was thinking. I've been kind of thinking about this for a hot minute. I want to make sure. I want to give that wand of magic missiles to Gendry. In light of the situation with the water witch fucking thing. When
Yeah.
he can't when he can't do any verbal or somatic shit, we need him to be able to do magic shit. So I want to give that wand to Gendry.
Okay. I'm just going to move it over from your character sheet to his.
Gendry, this is in light of what just happened, this is probably much more feasible in your hands.
Considering it's magic based, I would think it would be too.
If Timber had a hat, he'd just tip it.
But thank you.
Top of the morning to you.
Okay, it should be reflective on your token right now. It is. Oh, I almost forgot everybody before we really get started. I'm going to pull everybody's tokens out. We're going to talk through something really quick before we go any further. And I
New mods?
promise, yep, this is 100% going to be worth it.
Do we have the?
And it's
did you?
it's it,
Did you
Is it the
put?
anime mods?
Did you put the? I was gonna say.
no,
Did you
no,
do
it's,
the?
it's not the anime mods. But
Damn.
what it is so I just realized your character is concentrating on spike growth right now, but so we'll get rid of that. And then his character is concentrating on Moonbeam, which
That's
has ended.
me.
Okay. So as of right now, you can see all of you have what magical items you're carrying reflected on your characters. Click on your token.
I don't
Like-
see my token.
It's loading.
Oh, I just
Oh,
realized. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot, guys. I just realized you're not on the page I'm on.
Yay!
My bad.
It's the Baldur's Gate.
So if you click on your token, this is what you're gonna notice. So number one, like Timbers is broken right now. I'll have to get that fixed, and so is everybody else's stuff is not showing up on the token on the bottom
Hello,
left.
baby.
So, anyways,
Oh, I
when you
see.
click on your token, you see where it says like 1, and then it's got like 2 boxes that are there. That's for your weapons, and you can cycle through them if you click at the one above or the one below, and it'll go 1, 2, 3. You place your weapons on there. If you right click on it, it'll say auto populate this container. And you can click auto populate this container. Timber, I'm doing yours as the example here. And then you can go to weapons on the auto populate. I'm clicking populate, and now it just threw your short swords into that slot for the number 1 slot.
I have a
That's cool.
fist.
So for everybody else,
And
I
for the fist.
highly recommend you do what I just talked about. All the other boxes that you can see there that are there's like 15, 15, and 15. You can populate those with anything you want. You can put your consumables in one section, you can put your spells in another section, you can put your features in another section. This is your ability to basically not have to fucking open your character sheet ever unless it's to look at an inventory slot. If you look over on the far left, you're going to see where your character token is supposed to be. So Timber and Bolrin and Elperos do not have this fixed.
I see it.
But there's a dice that's above this area right here. Can you guys see where I'm pinging over here on the left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you click on your token and then you look over on the left, you see a dice that's above where your token is supposed to be, your character sheet.
Yep.
It'll actually show you what your stats are right then and there based off of that.
And you can
Oh.
click on it.
And then you can click on those for rolls and any
Mhm.
associated saves or anything like that. So it will literally do all of those things. And then if you look down on the bottom beneath the 1, 2, and the 3 for your weapons, you're going to see there's a hide action, a shove action, a dodge action, a dash action, disengage, grapple, all of that stuff. So if you want to take one of those actions, you just click it and be like, boom, this is what I'm doing. And it'll automatically instigate rules for it and everything else. Like right now, I'm looking at Elpros's character, and when I click on that, on the top right, it shows the buffs that Elpros has. It shows prepared spells and then shows the bonus healing that's on there. If I click on Bolrin, it shows on the top right he's got prepared spells. If I click on Timber, it shows you've got the alert feed on there that's a passive effect at all times. And then if I click on Gendry, there's like 50 million fucking things on there because he's got all these spells and shit going. Okay. But anyways, my point is like, so I'm looking at Gendry's right now and he's already populating his. But I highly recommend you guys take advantage of that. This is how you do it. All you do is you right click on those boxes and then you can click sort items in this container, or you click auto populate this container and you can pick whatever you want for those things. So just do it how you see fit and then you're good to go.
So it does not auto-populate my
Click
bow
on your
in there.
token.
Yep.
Oh, Lucy's. Oh, here, you gotta turn this on. Hold on.
So I'm fixing everybody's
There you
use
go.
character portrait, use character
there you go.
use character portrait. Okay.
So if you click here, right click, auto.
You can drag and drop from your sheet too, guys.
Weapons.
Oh yeah, the drag and drop's probably way easier.
And it gives you your club and fist. Or quarterstaff and fist. I mean, Elpros is either gonna punch someone or hit him with the quarterstaff. So I mean.
Oh yeah.
Also, Miles, I need to because I'm going off of the new rules, but I just haven't been able to figure out how to get the stupid spells in.
Okay.
So I'm gonna mostly be using the spells off of Beyond, but I'll just let you know what's going on
Okay.
until I can figure out, because I don't remember how to add spells to this program.
No, you're good. Coming up here, my game plan is to take about, and I'm gonna do a lot of updating on here. Let's put it that way. So Um,
Oh, hey, Miles, I did want to let you know on my character,
Uh-oh.
the spell, oh my God, Hunter's Mark. I changed that to add 3 uses because I get 3 uses without requiring spell slots.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you see that on this sheet, that's why I threw it in there.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, no
you. So
problem.
cool.
God, it makes hunters way more long, like long term. Like they don't need an immediate rest
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to get that shit. Like I really like the longevity they added to it.
Also, guys,
Very
when
nice.
we can get some. We need to find javelins for me. Oh wait, no. Technically, I don't need those anymore because I have the ring. I can attach to my greatsword and throw my greatsword and get it back,
Are great swords projectiles?
or my longsword. I can just fucking throw it. I have a longsword and I can technically throw it.
Wow,
Does
that
it
shit.
have? What? Well,
I
so
consider it an improvised weapon.
I was gonna
at
say,
that
is it
point.
considered an improvised weapon? That's a lot less
Hey,
Yeah.
effective than a
If
javelin.
Grog can do it, I can do it.
I mean, if you want something that you can throw and return back to you, I have a +1 dagger that I don't have room for.
Hold on.
I forgot I gotta get rid of vacate on
My
all your guys'
dexterity is
character
not good
sheets.
enough for a dagger.
Gotta get rid of that 9th level vacate.
I got a +1 in my deck, so I'm not gonna get a
What
good return
what
on
sword
that.
do you have, Zach? Is
I
it
got a
a
longsword
+1?
+1.
Okay, cool. So if you lose that for some reason, I got a great sword as backup for you. So
I do use a shield, so I wouldn't use a greatsword because I have a shield +1 too.
you know what? I'm tired of helping you.
Done.
Appreciate
I'm fucking done. Go fuck yourself.
You know, next time you fall in a fucking puddle of water, you're staying down there.
Oh, and by the way, just for Gendry, I noticed you didn't pick any level spells. Was that intentional?
I don't have them yet, technically.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep
It's
forgetting you
because he's
have.
multiclassing.
I'm
Yeah, it's 'cause he's
one level
multi-class.
short. Yep.
Yep.
You're a multi-class?
I have
Yeah,
one
he's
level
multi-class.
into something else, so I can be somewhat tanky at the same time.
He's got 1 level in a stinky class just for some benefits. No, it's okay. Do your thing.
Is there somebody you talk to?
Mm.
All right, this is really cool. I'm definitely gonna have to mess around with this later.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. You know what I mean? And you can make it as big or as small as you want. Like you can add more boxes. So,
It reminds me of oh my God, Baldur's Gate.
oh, that's exactly what it is. It's the Baldur's Gate HUD.
Perfect. That makes sense.
So, yep. Pretty nice. Anyways. All right. And I would heavily recommend making 1 series of those boxes consumables.
I already did.
That way you guys can see what you got. All right.
I'm sorry, we have consumables?
Okay.
I have a few.
Some people in your party have consumables.
I don't think I've seen a health potion at once this game.
I don't have any
might
health
have
potions.
one.
I got other things, but I ain't got a health potion.
That's all right. I got good
Oh wait, we're
berries.
out of
We'll be
food
okay.
too. Fuck.
No. I have good
Ooh.
boogers. We're perfectly fine.
Oh, that's right. You got good berries. You're good.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then Lucy can get create or destroy water, I think.
Yep, and I made the water bucket.
Who
Yeah,
needs
so
food?
we're just never gonna die.
At least from dehydration or starvation.
Yes. Miles can kill us in other ways, though.
Ah, yes, perfect.
We leveled up, right? No.
We leveled up.
Oh my
a while ago.
gosh.
No, you guys. So Elperos, you should be level 7.
Yeah. Did we take a long rest?
My health is maxed out on the sheet in Forge, but my D&D Beyond is.
I think that's because you guys didn't get hurt. I think Gendry did. Yeah,
didn't.
Gendry did get hurt. Yeah, you guys have not taken a long rest.
Oh my
okay.
gosh. You can click the action, bonus action, or reaction, or opportunity action.
Yes.
Dude, that's sick.
Fucking
So
sick.
mine has action, bonus action, reaction, of course, feature, cantrip, spell 1, spell 2, spell 3. Like the levels go up too, so it sorts them
This
for
is
me.
awesome. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Good improvement, Miles. Good improvement.
Well, when I found it, I was like, okay, this is a keeper. So this is kind of what I'm in games, just because of how nice it is. But anyways, I highly recommend fiddling around with like the 1, 2, and 3 on the weapon sets as well. Just get that situated, and then you can flip between
Oh
them when you're
yeah.
going to attack and do stuff. All right. But anyways, so you guys know where you lie. You're in back alleys. You've just defeated this very, very strange water demon.
Yay.
And by the way, you got an achievement for that.
We did.
Yep. Yep, there's an achievement for killing a demon.
Yay.
Bane of Evil.
Yeah.
We get to kill things. Oh, jeez. Place is crazy. I want to
Cheese.
I want to do something.
Yep.
It's gonna be weird, but I'm gonna do this because with the new paladin, I have this ability. And I can use it once per day without consuming a spell slot. But I'm gonna use my Find Steed ability.
Okay.
So in the new thing, it says you can this steed resembles a large rideable animal of your choice, such as a horse, camel, direwolf, or an elk.
Okay.
It can be celestial, fey, or fiend. I'm gonna summon a direwolf.
Okay.
And then
Let me
here's the
look.
stats for you. I can send you those. Hopefully
You
this.
rotten son of a bitch.
Oh, it doesn't send it right. Oh, can I save it as a picture? I don't know if I can. Hold on. No, don't want to let me save the image. Hold on. Let me see if there's a way I can get it. But anyways, I can choose to make it the Celestial Fiend or Fey. I'll make it a Celestial Direwolf.
Okay.
What that means, it's going to have an ability that I can use once per long rest, where one creature within 5 feet of the steed regains a number of hit points equal to 2d8 plus the spell level.
Okay.
So it's the auto cast is level 2. AC is
Okay.
10 plus spell level. HP is 5 plus 10 per spell level. 60 feet of movement, and then stat block and stuff. Trying to figure out how I can get this stat block to you. Let me see if this works in the Discord.
Oh,
Okay.
Miles probably doesn't have the ticket. All right,
Did
we
that
spoke
work?
with them.
It did not work.
Dang. That's okay. I can use something to get it. You don't sweat it too much. You're gonna have
Alright,
to
it's
give
just
me a
called
second
Otherworldly
to.
Steed.
Yep. Yeah. You'll have to give me a second to get it all situated, but it'll be up and.
Alright,
I'm gonna put it.
so
So like I usually will typically make a folder under your guys' characters that specifically is like minions or familiars, pets, or whatever it is. For you, I'm gonna make a folder in there that is literally mount. We'll go
Guys,
from
if a really cool thing, you can put your inspiration in the hot bar at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, fantastic.
Cool. I'm gonna close my character sheet then.
Yeah, you don't even need it open. It's crazy. But anyways, okay. So how do you want this to happen? Do you want this to be like a common, or is this more or less like, hey, this mount or this wolf, this dire wolf, just fucking shows up?
So Boloran, after all, he's like, we're gonna need some help. So Boloran, give me a second. He walks over to the side, and you see him messing with something. He's messing with his holy symbol, and he says, you just hear him whistle, and all of a sudden, out of the ground, you just see like celestial light come up, and this creature just starts appearing out of nowhere from the ground, and then it's a dire wolf.
Yeah.
This is Greywind. I think that he'll be able to help us out.
That could have been much useful
The
earlier.
first thing he does, Bullrun, is he comes up and he snips your face. And then after he's done sniffing your face, he looks at the rest of the party, and if an animal could scoff, it does. That this wolf is not impressed at all with the rest of your party.
Oh, it's a good boy. He's a little judgmental.
Oh, okay. Hi, Grave Wind. And Timber puts out his really long arm for him to like sniff at it.
Like salad finger style, just reaches over. No, the second you start to approach the, you see as it like slowly starts to raise its jowls, and you can see just the bottoms of its teeth getting exposed, like it's getting ready to bite you.
Raywin, be nice to the friends.
As you say this, you can see its demeanor changes a bit. And are you going to continue to move forward on this, Timber, or are you going to leave this?
No, I'm gonna let that thing come to me if it wants to.
Okay. You can see it's not the friendliest, and you're not sure what kind of magical persuasion Bolrin has over it, but he clearly has some kind of connection to this thing. All right. What are you doing with this? Are you going to actually use?
Sorry, what?
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
you're
but
good.
so what I was saying is, are you actually going to use it as a mount? Or are you letting it run free for?
I'm mostly just using it as an extra companion. So, because I can up to 1 mile I can talk with it telepathically up to 1
Yeah.
mile. So I'm gonna mostly use it as a scout, and kind of help us out with fights.
Okay.
Timber's slightly hurt by that.
I mean, you guys can scout
It's not
together.
this fucking cool, dope ass wolf.
Although I might ride him at once in a while. Like right now, I might just ride him just because, but I'd like to mostly keep him as a companion.
Well,
Just-
Bolrin is the shortest, right? He might be at our height then.
Hey,
Damn.
I actually don't remember who's. I think I am the shortest. Actually, shit.
I think we're all like 6'4" or 6'5".
We're all 6 foot something. I think I'm just the smallest
Unreal.
6 foot person.
That's fucking wild. I did not realize that.
We're all very
Yeah, I
big.
think Gendry, you're 6'3", right?
I'm like 6'5", yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're
Fuck,
6'5".
am I
My
making this up?
God. Jesus
I was
Christ, a
like-
fucking bunch of giants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm 6'5", 275, and I'm small for my clan.
Oh, it's in the original one.
Small.
Small with air quotes.
I sent you the page that the new Feinstein is on, Miles from
Yeah.
D&D Beyond. You should be able to see it being in with
I think
my
Elpros is
campaign.
fucking tall too.
Yeah, I'm 7'5". It says.
Yeah, we're all 6'5".
Oh, he
No,
she
I
said
have-
7'5".
7'5"?
I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm
because
6'5".
Well,
That's
now
fine.
it is.
Okay, I'm 6'5", so I'm the same height as Gendry.
God, we're fucking giants, y'all.
we
Jesus
all
Christ.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
all-
The tavern sees us and they don't like it.
we all
What's the
picked-
name of the Goon Squad like team in that
The
God,
Monstars?
All-Star-
Are you talking about
Monstars, yeah. You
Monstars
fucking
and
spell yourselves the Monstars.
Hell yeah.
we all did pick very tall species.
I just
Yeah,
picked
see?
Asimar. I just wanted to be tall.
Wow.
You said
that's
Grey
crazy.
Wind?
Yeah, Greywind.
Okay.
I didn't have to look up wolf names at all or anything.
Dope.
Would have
Okay.
been cooler if it was nicer.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole. You pick up on that immediately.
Timber sniffs it back.
He just snorted him.
Yeah, see, for
Oh god. This is gonna be an issue.
Furbolg's natural height is anywhere between 7 to 8 feet.
Oh my
That's why
god! So yeah, 7-5.
That's why you're
Oh, wow.
7'5", Lucy.
Jesus,
Furbolgs are naturally between 7 to 8 feet.
Bunch of
So,
lanky bastards.
Yeah, Warforge is anywhere between 6 and 7. So I picked in the middle.
God dang, man.
And bugbears are
Alright.
anywhere between
Hmm.
6 to 8 feet.
Yeah, and I went with the small end.
Miles, I
Jesus
might make your
Christ.
life hell when we level up again.
Just wait till you get
You
spiritual.
rotten bastard.
Spiritual guardians.
Uh-huh. And you start riding that sucker around.
And I grab Bounty Combatant.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
You shall
we have-
see.
I'm so proud that we all just went straight AoE if we're like our 7th level.
Our entire game plan is to just face fuck the entire area.
And I gave us extra healing by picking the Celestial Steed.
Does that have an aura around it, or is it just?
No, it's just if you're within 5 feet of it, it can heal you once a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like 2d8.
Okay, I just inserted Greywind into your folder for your mount.
Nice.
You'll
I
see
love
him in
breaking
there.
stuff.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna give you permissions for that, and then you can basically throw in the stats and do whatever else you want with it. So, okay, you are the owner officially.
Also,
Hell yeah.
Feel
So
free to adjust the stats and do whatever you need.
really quick before we continue moving forward, when you prepare your spells, it will take off and replace the ones that you unprepare and prepare in your toolbar at the bottom too.
Oh,
I was
wow.
That's
thinking-
awesome.
myself like, oh no.
Lucy has
Very
a lot
nice.
of spells.
A lot. All right. So, guys, what do you want to do? You are currently in these back alleys. You haven't seen any kind of, well, you saw one hostile, but everything else has been fairly, devoid of any kind of conflict. The only thing that seems to be of a concern, any kind of immediate danger, is whatever these growths are that you keep seeing.
And we found
Say
out that
growth.
these growths are connected to something somewhere and it's fiendish.
You did determine that, yes. You think there is some sort of connection to something fiendish involved. This affliction, whatever it might be, is clearly unnatural. It's not like we've ever seen.
Yeah. I remember us figuring that out at least. So currently we are trying to find our way past the next wall, correct? Essentially.
Yes, and so go ahead and give me a survival check for whoever's going to lead the party through here.
I think this new fucking wolf wants to.
Ooh, can you do
Sniffing
those?
around?
He's only
Do
got
it.
he's not the wisest of creatures.
You got
That's right.
Timber over there.
Timber's
See,
got
you
it.
dumb wolf. This is
Oh,
how you
fuck.
do it. And he just trips and falls on his face.
Basically, I roll a 5.
I definitely will not be of help here. Oh no, it's intelligence. That's right. How smart is my wolf? My smart, not smart.
So Timber, you realize you at a bare minimum, you think you're actually going away from the wall further and further at this point. I mean, there might be a way around it, but it's fairly difficult to tell in an urban environment like this. You definitively, you're going away from the wall. You're going away from the entrance that you guys were looking for, and you might happen upon something that diverts you again. But currently, you're actually working away from it. What do you guys want to do?
With seeing us going through these back alleys a little bit, and now that we're kind of walking away from where we saw that gate, not knowing if that gate is actually where we want to go, does it seem like we're trailing on the outskirts of this city, or does it seem like we're still making our way towards the middle of
No,
it?
you think you're actually further into the city now at this point.
Okay.
You made your way past the ramparts. Those are far long gone behind you. You're in the city.
Just to make sure we're both on the same page, this city, I meant this new place we're in, the Arboretum.
Oh yeah. You're still
Cool,
in
cool,
the
cool.
Arboretum. You
Okay,
haven't left
good,
it.
good. And in this Arboretum, we're getting closer to the heart of the Arboretum, it seems like. It doesn't seem like we're trailing away from it.
That is correct. It seems like you're going
Okay.
deeper into it.
Okay. Well, we're getting farther away from that gate we saw, but seems like we're getting deeper to the center of the city, so I guess we just keep on moving this way. Unless anyone else got any other plans.
No, I think that makes sense. I mean, not might as well just try to get as close as we can.
Miles, what time of day roughly would it be, or do we not know because it's raining?
You know, so it is actually, let me look at my timer. Where are you, calendar? Actually, it's approaching nighttime.
Perfect. Uh, I'd prefer us not to. Maybe we could find like a clearing where this stuff isn't necessarily touching us. Any
Put
kind
it this
of
way, in about 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes, it's going to be dark.
okay. And Timber points to the fauna all around that looks like blood and intestines.
Yes.
I'd prefer not to make camp on this stuff, especially so now that we found out that it's actually alive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Hopefully we can find something that can let us rest.
Okay.
I'd say
So you guys are just going to travel around until you find something?
I'd say we continue following this route, trying our best to kind of make do with going towards the city. But yeah, Timber would like to keep an eye out for quote unquote an outcropping or maybe a building that maybe not has had this stuff go inside of it yet.
Okay. Go ahead and give me. So this is going to be another survival check. You realize you're going away from the city. It's not wasted efforts, but I mean, you're going away from the entrance, that you were looking at initially at this section of wall.
I'll give you guidance on that.
Guidance. Nice.
It's
Boom.
dirty 20.
Yeah. Okay. As you're traveling through these back alleys, you eventually emerge from this back out onto some sort of main thoroughfare yet again. And you realize you've exited onto a street, except this time you can definitely see where you've emerged. There's something else going on here. Where you were looking at all these plants previously that were vines, shrubs, and just almost mosses, lichens, things growing along the ground. Now you see trees. Looking on at these trees, you can tell something's wrong. And as you look for leaves or anything that would indicate that it's a plant of some kind, you instead see something else entirely. Looking on at them, you realize there's eyes staring back at you from the tops of these trees or on the trunks. There's a horrific aberration of some kind in front of you that's growing in these trunks. And with every movement you take, the eyes follow you.
Wonderful.
As you look down this main thoroughfare left to right, to the left, you can see that it proceeds to go back further towards where you originally came from. These back alleys that you've been traveling down have simply just made you worm your way around, eventually leading to this, maybe even culminating with this thoroughfare you're on back somewhere further from where you came from. And as you turn to your right, following the road, you see that it actually heads somewhere strange. You can see the interior of a room with both double doors wide open. And whatever this building is, you can see a blue glow coming from the interior. What are you doing?
And that glow towards the end there looks like it's
Ominous?
untouched by, well, yeah, definitely looks ominous, but does it look like it's not touched by the fauna as much?
You where you're currently standing at right now, you don't see any kind of growths around the inside, or from what you can tell right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we gotta keep moving forward.
I mean, we should possibly check it out. I won't lie, after the puddle monster, I'm a little hesitant.
Oh, just the puddle monster? Not the fucking
Yeah, not anything else that's
not the
happened this
machination that we were
campaign.
from.
It's kind of everything, but that puddle monster really, that one was rough.
Your PTSD is really kicking in now. Yeah. We need to rest, and like I said, this fauna, now that there's, and I kind of point up towards the trees, now that we're being watched. I would prefer to get out of this.
You realize after a very short period of staring down these eyeballs, they're not blinking because they don't have eyelids.
I want to shoot them all, every single one of them.
Jesus.
Just fucking no. Timber will go ahead and move forward, maybe 10 feet in front of the group.
Okay.
And just try and get a better eye on this entrance over here.
You can see as you approach it a little bit closer, as you stare into this area, you can see what looks to be some kind of maybe there's some sort of piece of stonework that's standing up in the middle of whatever that room is. You can't really tell what else is from here. You can see what look to be some columns maybe in the back. That stonework that's coming up out of the ground, but beyond that, you're not sure.
Well, Timber will go ahead and issue the group forward and keep moving closer to the entrance. I would say I want to get at least like maybe 15, let's say 20 feet from it.
Okay. As you're making your way down this thoroughfare, you can see that the eyes, again, are following you this entire time. And while they're not openly or outwardly hostile, you have a terrible feeling that there's something far more nefarious going on here than you can possibly imagine. The horrific entities that you're looking upon are clearly an amalgamation of plant and flesh. And that seems to be a running theme in this entire district. By the time you reach the entrance of this area, you can now easily see in the interior of this building, and the room you're currently looking into seems to be totally devoid of any kind of plants or growth. And you can now see what's giving off the glow. As you're looking into the room, you can see that there is some kind of opening from above giving off this illumination. While you can't see it from where you're standing, you can definitely tell there is a direction that the light is coming from. What it's shining down onto is a circular altar, is what it looks and appears to be. You're not entirely sure whatever this, edifice could be. You're not able to spot details from here, but what you do spot is several statues in the background, all culminating around this circular section of the room. And a series of columns wrap their way entirely around the room. And the center of the room is clearly the focus of whatever's going on here.
Timber's gonna pick up a rock and throw it in there real quick.
All right. you pick up a dirty rock on the ground and you just whip it into the room. The stone clatters on more stone and nothing happens.
Oh, but the rock made it. At least there's nothing barring us from getting in. Timber's gonna go ahead and scout it out. Check it out first.
Okay. All right. You see as Timber starts to make his way into the room, cautiously, but a little more optimistic at this point. Okay.
No, I want to go home.
As you
That
make
looks
your
like a
way,
sacrificial chamber if I've ever seen one.
as you make your way into the room, you stand at a distance, looking on, and see a number of these statues, all again circular, surrounding this one focal point in the room. And as you look up, it's unknown what the source of light is from above. You can see that it's bright enough that it's obscuring what it actually is. It's clearly magical in nature for whatever it might be, but it shines directly down onto the altar below. There seems to be no indication of anything lit in this room, nor is there any kind of particulars for, something else that might be apparently interesting. Everything seems to be focused on this one point.
Before I get too further down, and before I get the group in here, I'd like to check for potential traps or like any pressure points on the floor.
Okay, go ahead and give me an active perception check. Give me that roll. Failure. No, I'm joking. As you're looking around, you do note something. It's not a trap that you're looking at, but you are seeing some strange symbolism around the room, especially near statues and different areas that you're looking at right now. You haven't been touching anything, but you have just been taking your time, paused, and looking around the room. And on several, sections of the room as you're looking around, you can see what looks to be a crescent shape, a full circle, more crescent shapes, and eventually like just varying sizes of crescents as well as a circle. And you quickly put it together, from what you're looking at. It's phases of the moon.
What phase of the moon are we currently in?
Go ahead and give me a knowledge nature check.
Oh, yay. That was almost
Okay.
3.
All right, so that's enough for what you need to know. You are currently in the waxing gibbous. That's basically most of the moon is lit except for the left edge. So it's a very
Okay,
large
okay.
portion of the moon is lit. Not all of
Gotcha.
it, but a very large portion.
Okay. I'll wave the group in a little to come closer. And I'll take some leisurely steps into or not leisurely, but cautious steps into this place. And I'll try and look or Timber will try and look for the waxing gibbous section of the circles.
Okay. You see as Timber starts to move his way around the room for this. What are the rest of you doing during? He's just observing something. He's specifically going for something.
Can I take a can I make a like religion check and then see if like I would know or recognize any of the symbols on the pillars or the walls or
Yeah.
altar, what it might.
Yes, you may. Go ahead and give me a knowledge religion check. You can actually take advantage on this.
Yeah.
There's a very specific reason.
Can I make a religion too?
Yeah. Yours will not get
No, I know.
advantage. It's very specific to Elperos.
I'm just curious if I would. Oh,
So Elperos, you do recognize the symbolism here. What you have looked on is specifically symbols of the moon. And your first thoughts go towards Virith, which is the mirror of light. And what that means to you is it is the polar opposite of the deity that you worship. And while not evil, evil's too strong a word and the wrong way to describe Virith. You know that the deity is particularly revered for the beauty and silence that comes with night and the stars in the sky and the moon. And the particular takeaway is that with all light comes darkness. And with one, you cannot have the other. And they're two in the same, so to speak. While your God is not, you wouldn't consider anything that your deity does to be any kind of particular evil. We'll put it that way. Your entire dogma for your deity it's particularly geared at mercy and forgiveness and making the world a better place. And Cadwin is not someone or an entity that you would consider to have any qualm of evil in any kind of part of their substance at all. That's not particularly looked upon as the same as Virith. Virith, it's openly accepted that death is a part of life. And clerics and acolytes that worship that deity have a particular fondness of going about and stating, well, with one you can't. And the philosophical debate that follows that is just atrocious in itself. And it never really came particular to liking why you had turned towards Cadwin in the first place. But you do know that Virith's entire existence has attracted quite a few number of followers. And like I said, and while not particularly pointed out and resonating as evil, it is looked and frowned upon by certain circles, especially those who would follow Cadwin.
And what you said, Vera?
Virith, yes.
I would say this to everyone. This is the temple of Vera. And I would kind of explain more what you explained to them.
Okay. As you reiterate this to everybody, you're not sensing anything in the room as you look around that looks to be, well, off-putting. It seems like actually a very quiet and peaceful place. That said, as you're sitting there and you're dwelling on this, and you know now what you are looking upon, this this seems to be an altar or a small temple of some kind dedicated to Virith. What's everybody else doing?
Timber will explain that the markings on the floor are also the moons, which I'm sure that Elpros picked up by now. But would also reference that we are currently in the waxing gibbous of the moon cycle. Miles, so from the waxing gibbous, how long does that usually take before it goes full moon?
So it goes in a full phase of cycles. You're gonna have to give me a second. I don't know if I actually have that written down. You got me, you rat bastard. You got me.
Achievement!
Okay.
Stomping the DM. At this point, I'm just achievement hunting, Miles.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You do your thing.
100% in this game.
So basically, there's roughly between all 8 of the cycles that are there, like the full amount in between each one, there's roughly about 30 days totals, and you can literally break them evenly.
All right,
The,
so
the
we
correct
got
answer is 7.4 days,
all
which
right.
obviously it's kind of an absurdity in itself. So for the purposes of brevity, we'll say 4 days in between each.
Gotcha. Okay. Uh,
And is this moonlight like shining in? Is it
You
shining
can see
towards
that,
that?
Gendry, you can see that the light source coming from above, you can't actually tell what's producing it. There's just an incredibly bright light from above that's getting dimmer as it goes down. It's practically blinding when you look up, but it's clearly not as radiant in the rest of the room. It's focusing on that focal
Well,
point at the center of the room at that.
with that being the case, do I notice anything on like the walls or the ceiling or parts of the ground or anything like where that moonlight or light might reflect off of to, like bounce off of to get to certain points or anything, or things that we can move around to shape light, as in like if there's like things that it's reflecting off that you can move, almost like a white maze where you would move one mirror
Oh yeah.
to, yeah.
You go ahead and give me an active perception check.
Perception. I can never roll over a 10 in this damn in
So
Foundry.
as you're looking around, you don't particularly see anything. Everything in here really stone. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Um,
You might be safe here in the
Throw hands.
temple.
Hmm.
This, how many? I know. How many entrances are there? Just the one? Windows?
As you're looking, you realize the only entrance is really the double doors behind you, and then whatever this opening is above that's giving off all this.
I think this might be. I think we can assume. I think we can count on this being a pretty safe place. Maybe just not directly underneath. Maybe we could be off to the side.
It feels safe, but I don't trust it.
I mean, we obviously can always take shifts.
Chickens, buck, buck, buck. No, I'm joking.
I go on the middle thing.
Sacrifice.
Let's see.
Timber is gonna. I mean, seeing that this is a temple and whatnot. Now, what Elbro said. When I go to the full moon section on the ground, the full circle, is there anything other than just the circle itself?
I'm sorry. What do you mean the full circle on the ground? Are you talking like the outer edge?
The full moon.
Oh,
The full moon circle. The full moon.
So as you approach, that 1/8 of the full cycle that's listed there, and you're looking over it, you can see it's just a full circle. There's nothing in front of it. There's nothing around it. There's just the statue that's sitting over it, and there's nothing else.
What? Sorry, really quick. Did you say the growth is not in this temple at all?
No, not at all.
And
it's completely devoid.
And we found out that flesh is some kind of fiend.
It has some sort of noxious fume to it that specifically Bolrin associates with some kind of fiendish presence. Yes.
But so it has not creeped into the temple though.
No, not at all.
So
you can see there's no presence in the slightest.
I think we're fairly safe in this temple.
Elpros, do you know of any blessings that are given from this god? Is there a blessing between each cycle of the moon?
Would I know that? Probably not, but
you really that Virith, worshippers of Virith just have a particular fondness for the full moon, and they kind of mourn is too strong of a word, but when the moon is fully hidden, that's something they particularly do not like. That's usually a days of some extreme worship, and the full moon is a day of jubilation.
Imagine being scared because the moon disappeared.
certain phases, certain things, but I do know the full moon is praised deeply. I would not know too much more in depth.
Okay. And the waxing gibbous, that is the moon going towards a full moon? Or is that a moon going away from full moon?
So the waxing you son of a bitch. That is, most of the moon is lit except for the leftmost edge.
That's the most important edge.
So it's going away from being a full moon.
Yes.
Okay, so we just missed the fun stuff.
No, I'm sorry. That is incorrect. It's being a full moon.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So accordingly, roughly in about 4 days, it will be a full.
Do you guys want to camp out here for 4 days? We got good berries and water.
We get really acquainted in here. All right, that's what I
I
was
think we
curious
can.
about.
If the majority of what we have to worry about are demons.
By the way, that was a random roll that determined that cycle.
Oh.
Has
Oh
anybody
shit! Damn.
the altar in the center? Has anybody like really looked at it yet?
No, literally nobody's even approached it.
I
I'll
will
approach it.
go. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna go look at this.
Okay,
I'm
Oh.
just gonna take
as
about 2 big steps backwards.
okay, as you approach it, give me one moment. Give me 1 second. Gendry is struck dead. No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Bolrin runs away.
Well, robot took it for us. On to
He's
the
a-
next one.
He conducts lightning, so.
He's a conductor.
Dude, how funny would it be if like they had vulnerability to lightning damage because they're constructs?
That would be kind of cool.
Or they had the ability to like ground a lightning spell and they could like channel it to them so they could protect their allies like once a day. Like a lightning rod.
That would be really interesting, honestly.
Cool little class feature.
You can conduct lightning.
Be super specific. It wouldn't be OP. Because I don't know how many DMs use lightning.
Yeah, it's mainly fire. Fire, poison, those are like the usual, like, big ones.
Everybody loves fire.
Now Kyle's going to end up coming up with a freaking situation where we're going to be doing nothing but lightning damage and frost damage and shit.
That would actually be kind of funny. Our cat is so weird.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
That can't be comfortable, buddy.
Oh, you got a cat? Got a cat taking up some space, rolling around on a keyboard?
And he's on Lucy's lap, but like he's resting his head on
Oh
the
my
armrest. That
god,
doesn't look very comfortable.
that cat looks so friggin' relaxed. All right. So as you're approaching this altar, Gendry, you go to look upon it and you realize it's just shimmering with this radiance coming from above. And you can see that this glow, whatever it might be, is effectively just cascading down onto this. There's nothing on the altar.
So no
It's just, it seems
carvings,
to
no
be a
anything.
smooth, no, it just seems to be a smooth piece of stone.
Is the light from the altar representing about the same as what the moon is representing, like light-wise, or is the entire top lit?
Go ahead and give me a knowledge nature check. Are you going to present that idea? You think with thematically the way things are, that's probably accurate. You probably think that's probably the same amount of it would probably give off with the waxing gibbous. And, you know, just putting 2 and 2 together from everything, this seems to be very intricate for what you're looking. You know, with the altar, it doesn't seem, you know, there's anything else there. It's just light coming down onto it. The circle itself is a full circle,
Mm-hmm.
which you find kind of strange because that would mean it's a full moon. But something's not adding up there. You're not entirely quite sure what it is, but you know 2 and 2 are not going together here. If it was a waxing gibbous, it would be indicated maybe that it's a waxing gibbous. But what you're looking at seems to just be a full moon.
Bowen, if you look at this, what do you see? Can you see anything up above or anything that might be giving it a little more reflection than it should?
Do I?
As all of you approach it, you're seeing exactly up flat piece of stone and light cascading down onto it. It's very radiant. If you look up, it's almost blinding, but down below, it just seems dim luminosity.
There's no there's no upper area. There doesn't look like there's any stairs leading up this structure, right?
No, not at all. This seems to be single floor.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is going to be, we'll see. I mean, it's probably not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen, but I guess as we're all looking at this, Timber is going to take his bow out and just put it on the table.
Oh my god, genius.
Okay, you take your bow out and nothing happens. The light does shimmer over it though. You realize it looks very strange.
I bet on the full moon it does something cool.
What if I put my hand under it?
Timber's going to take his bow back real quick.
You're gonna put your hand over it?
Yeah, like over the altar.
Okay, go ahead. This is a perception check for anyone.
Yep.
I'm definitely telling Timber to look out for anything.
Kill me! Kill me!
Says the person that Timber was like, you shouldn't fucking trust the soulsmith, and still fucking trusted him.
Yes.
Me too.
He's just taking little pieces from you guys. It's not a lot.
Catch you red-handed, motherfucker.
Gendry, you notice it over everyone else. Timber, did you want to roll?
I'm rolling right now.
Okay, Timber, you're not really paying attention. You're more for bow at the time. You gotta pull that away. Gendry, you almost don't catch it. When you put your hand over the altar, you're really expecting some sort of magical effect or something else to happen. And instead, when you put your hand over the altar, you see the shadow underneath. And you realize there's something on the altar with a shadow overhanging it that you couldn't see when the light was there.
What?
Quick, huddle up.
All right.
I
As
got
you're,
10. I got a 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Gendry, do you see anything?
something's actually here. I am going to take
Lies, I don't see shit.
I'm gonna take my just like the robe part off and tell
Okay.
Boren to hold on to the end.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go around the other side and stretch it out over it.
Okay. As the two of you are working in conjunction together to do this, you see what the altar really holds here. Right now, you can see that there are a series of indentations going all the way around this altar, which were not apparent before when the light was showing. You realize if perhaps you were in the complete and total darkness of in a scenario that was going on, you would be able to see this. However, the luminosity is not going to allow that, and you've basically circumvented that entire this. You realize it is moving as per everything you guys had assumed was happening with the cycles of the moon and everything. And when you're looking upon this, this is what you're seeing right now. I mean, literally a direct representation. What are you guys doing?
And which cycle are we on right now? You said left
You're
side,
on
right?
the waxing gibbous. It's darkness on the left.
Darkness on the left, so we're over here.
I'm sorry, I said 4 days to you guys. I should have said 8.
Oh no.
I apologize.
So much for waiting for the full moon.
Does this seem familiar to any of you?
No, not really.
Not that I know of.
It's a moon.
It's definitely a moon.
So with the gibbous or the waning gibbous that we're currently under, there's nothing in the center of this. Just the ring, right?
Yeah, there's nothing else. You realize that you know, it's got the cycles, but then there's some sort of central section of this. It doesn't really make any sense to you.
Does this look like anything I might have read in books back at the
You know, cycles of the moon, but beyond that, there's really not any kind of. You just think it's very strange that somebody would go through efforts to hide this with some sort of magical luminosity.
Hmm. What if I used him? What if I shot a moonbeam at it?
What if you shot a moonbeam at it?
I mean,
the
You
temple
light
erupts
that
in flames.
bitch. You light that bitch up.
um
This altar won't know what hit it.
Can Timber go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to quickly tell them if you want to continue to look at this, give me 10 minutes.
oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. That's a better idea.
As you want
Okay.
to figure it out. I'm gonna ritual cast detect magic.
Okay. After quite a long period, you realize there's three things going on in this place that you immediately begin to detect. So first off, you're sensing abjuration magic everywhere, all around you. It's on the altar. It's on everywhere in the room. However, it's very faint. And go ahead and give me a knowledge arcana check in addition to this, because this is going to be specialized knowledge.
All right.
This is definitely pertinent to your character, so I'll give you advantage on it.
Oh, this could be a big roll then. Watch this.
God
damn.
Damn,
Holy
Gina.
fuck. All right, so Gendry, you realize, you know, this level of faint magic, that's usually indicative of, you know, either a particularly weak magical aura or, you know, something that wasn't crafted with any kind of real arcane. You don't think that's the case here. You think this aura of magic has probably been here for such an extensive period of time that whatever magical effect it had is finally coming to an end. It's right on the brink of collapse, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure how much longer this aura might last, but you get the distinct impression it doesn't have long. Maybe a few months, maybe half a year, and that's being generous. It could be even shorter than that.
And then, am I getting anything out of this thing itself?
You are. You're getting two more issuances of magic. You're getting abjuration magic, evocation magic, which you particularly would associate with light being emanated from any kind of source or any kind of projection of light. Then that's kind of easily pieced together. And then the altar itself, you're seeing conjuration magic, which looking at that, you're not particularly sure what that would be.
I will pass this information on.
Okay. All right. With conjuration magic, you know there's some sort of summoning force there, but you're not entirely sure what that could be. It could be a creature. It could be an item. It could be, a person. It could be, something you don't know.
It really does seem like if we were here for the full moon, this could be an interesting place to be.
This magic that is emanating this light is about to wear off. Almost like a powerful light spell. I'm curious on where it may be coming from. If we can,
It's probably what's keeping the demons away.
Can Timber put his large hand on the center of the thing?
All right. As you go about stretching your ginormously freakish large hand on the circle, you extend over it, and it actually your hand it just encompasses over the entire edge of the pedestal, and you just grip around it like a big gulp. So, anyways, you put your hand in the center, and as you look down, and nothing happens.
No feeling, nothing of any.
No, there doesn't seem to be any kind. There's a tingle there. You've sensed that kind of a thing in the past when there's a particularly powerful magical force somewhere. But that's it. Nothing else happens.
I use my Inquisitor to see if the pedestal's lying to me.
That a rotten piece of shit. You know it's lying. Get it.
Fucking give me your secrets. All right. Well, I don't know about staying here for 8 days, but I wouldn't mind staying here for the night.
I think the night makes more sense. I was just joking about being here until the full moon.
Bolarin, and again, Timber looks over at, kind of gives a side eye to Greywind. Your new pet. Does it need to sleep, or can it do a full watch by itself?
That's a great question. Hold on.
I would say so. It's a magical entity that is treated like a creature. It's effectively a creature, right? Is it immune to exhaustion?
It doesn't say that, and it's
If it's not immune to exhaustion, it has to rest.
To the books. What's the spell called?
Find Steed.
it's I posted the link to the spell, but we do have the books, which that's what I've been using, opening back and forth.
It does share my initiative count, which is nice.
Okay, I got it. You summon an otherworldly being that appears as. Wait, what was the question?
Can it sleep? Does it need sleep?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't specifically say it doesn't need sleep.
It just says it's a raidable animal. You have your own stat block. You can use in combat. No.
hotel internet just completely and totally fucking dropped. There's nothing. I don't know what's going on right now. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Right
Yeah.
now we can, yeah.
There is particularly bad bullshit going on with this right now, and I'm not entirely sure why whatever's happening is happening. I can't even get this to load. That's not great.
I mean, there's definitely wasn't a monster for us to fight.
No, it's not a monster. That much is obvious.
It's PTSD.
Whatever could be conjured might be a monster. You really don't know. You what you do know is that there's some sort of magic here enforcing conjuration, and it seems to be particularly powerful.
Let's see.
Sure would be nice if my hotel internet would come back on. Wow.
Shame.
I mean, I think it I'm
So
gonna go with
the
I think he needs to
thing,
rest.
well, it does because like healing touch recharges after a long rest.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, cool. Well, even then, we can still split with it.
Well, even that I can watch the entire time, anyways.
But you can't move when you're in
No.
Sentry.
But I can still see what's going on.
Can you wake yourself up?
Can you talk? I can't remember what the roles of Sentry were.
I can. So for Sentry's rest, when you take a long rest, of course, I must spend at least 6 hours in an active, motionless state. Rather than sleeping in the state, you appear in. Let me scroll down. What's it not showing? I do appear in. I can see and hear as normal.
Yeah, he's just inert.
Mm-hmm.
Can you wake yourself up?
Probably.
Yeah, if you can
I can
if you can
stuff,
see and hear as normal, then yeah, you can wake yourself up
Yeah.
off that. Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. Well, then yeah, in that case, I'm really not worried then.
Okay, well, regardless, what are you guys doing? Just resting?
Timber's gonna start bunking down.
Okay, you realize the door is just wide open right now. Are you guys leaving it open?
Oh, there was a
Close
door.
it.
That's what.
Yeah,
we
there's
all
a
do.
set of double doors that's just wide open right now.
Close the
Fuck yeah,
door.
let's close it.
Try to bar them as best we can.
As you go and you pull the doors, Bolrin and Timber, the two of you go over, you start moving the doors, you realize something. And you all kind of walk past these doors initially, and you were kind of wondering why they were wide open. You realize as you're pulling them back, it looks like some sort of tremendous force hit the doors square center and actually sent them probably flying open. And you can see what looks to be some sort of, impact of some kind that had basically almost ripped the doors off the hinges, sending them in this direction. Basically, all the way open. And as you look at the hinges themselves, they do look to be mildly damaged. You think you'll be able to close these doors, but it's not going to be all the way.
This
Can
temple's
we
kind
try
of
to bar
ruined.
them? Can we try to bar it closed a little bit?
Let's say
You could always try and manhandle it.
Yeah, can we kind of prop some stones up against it? I know Balrin's big and strong.
You can.
And Elpros has those big ol' gauntlets on.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's big and strong.
Bunch of big, strong boys.
Yeah. Hey, how about that? Make sure you lift with your back, and then pick that one up over there and put it over there. And yeah. You guys doing a great job.
Good pointing. All right.
Timber is probably the weakest of us all, honestly.
I don't know about that.
Oh, maybe Gendry.
Gendry's got some particularly poor stats on strength. So, anyways, as your guys are going about motioning these small boulders and everything, there's parts of broken statues. You just kind of prop those up in front of the door. You think, anything particularly weak, like some of the Undying, might not be able to make their way in here with the small pile that you've created. But if anything with any kind of real force, it's probably just going to be able to bust the door down or throw the door open. The undead, you know, Gorger, basically the equivalent of like an undying ogre, effectively. You get the distinct impression something like that might be able to just strong arm its way in. And there's not much you'll probably be able to do about it. But this should keep any kind of smaller enemies out.
That's
I think
fair.
we're in the
I
best
mean,
shape we're gonna be. Maybe we just try to find a secluded part, just as far away from the door as we can to give us warning.
Okay.
yeah,
All
Timber
right.
will bug down towards the edge of the area.
Okay. And are you guys taking a long rest or a short rest? What are you doing? Are you just resting here for the night?
Well, it's night, right?
Yep.
Probably
It's
long,
about
but
to be night.
before I go to rest, I want to look more at this light. Try to figure out where the hell it's coming from.
Okay, as you look on at the light, you're not really sensing anything about it. It's still dusk. Nighttime hasn't really hit yet, and
Mm.
you're just seeing this light emanating from it down onto the altar.
Well,
Nothing really seems to have changed.
okay, well, I should say when it becomes more night, I want to watch this altar to see if, maybe I'll figure out a way to prop up uh, I want to see if like the movement at all will mess with this altar
Okay.
as the
You
night
know,
takes over.
as you all gather up and everybody starts getting ready to rest. Gendry, you prop yourself directly in the position where you can look at this altar ceaselessly as the night comes on. And almost immediately, as true as true darkness sets in, you see as the light that is emanating from up above seems to culminate, is the word you would use, as it starts to descend down, and no longer is it emanating from above, but almost like it's carrying itself downwards. And you watch as this manifestation makes its way down to the altar, and you look upon the altar now as something forms in the circle you had seen previously. And you realize you're currently looking on a sword.
Oh.
I'll get myself movement wise and I'll slowly approach.
All right, as
Catch
you
it.
begin to approach the altar, you realize you're looking upon a very strange sword. First off, it's clearly in the shape of what appears to be almost a scimitar.
Ooh.
And whatever it is, it's clearly magical. You can see the light that was above has now descended into this form, and you notice two things almost immediately. Number one, the waxing gibbous is now glowing a very specific color. And you can see that it's emanating that moonlight in that specific position. And as you're looking on this and you're seeing the sword itself, it's magical. Clearly, it's magical.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
And you said
Like,
that waxing gibbous is emanating a certain light, you said?
Yes, and it's basically it's glowing now. It wasn't doing that before. But
Mm.
I'm going to give you a little bit more of a description of this blade.
Mm-hmm.
Through whatever miraculous chance you've happened upon this, you don't know if you can fully appreciate this, but this blade looks like a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've never seen any kind of magical item that was as perfectly crafted as what you're looking at. It's emitting a dim glow like the waxing gibbous at all times. And it almost looks like an exact duplicate of what you had seen above, but now in the form of this weapon.
Well, I am going to. Does it look material? Like I can actually touch it or grab it?
Yes, it looks like a physical manifestation.
Screw it, I'll do it.
He's doing it. Do we see this happening?
We're sleeping.
Most people, most of
Oh.
you guys are like sleeping and resting right now, and he's just watching this because he doesn't
Yeah.
have to rest. Um, no, okay. So as you go forth and you pick this up, nothing happens. But when you pick it up, you're not particularly sure what it's made of.
Uh-huh.
There's some sort of unknown metal. You can't quite put your finger on it, and it weighs practically nothing.
Interesting.
And you kind of teeter it around in your hand. It's perfectly balanced. As you whip it through the air, it it doesn't even make a sound. It just swings in the blink of an eye. I mean, as fast as your arm can go, this thing goes. And you just find it absolutely incredible. This is truly something unique.
I'm casting Identify.
Okay. As you cast Identify, um, so these are the stats that it has, and I'm going to read this out loud to you so you know what it is you've got here. So you realize this is known as a moonblade, and go ahead and give me a knowledge arcana check.
Oh no.
So
Oh, no.
actually, believe it or not, that's high enough. Your 4 succeeded here.
Jesus.
So you know that these are almost legendary, blades in terms of the circles of the arcane. This is the equivalent of a magical manifestation from what you believe or other people believe to be a deity. And specifically Virith, you know that there are a handful of other weapons that, specifically items in general that have been given as gifts to mortals. And looking at this weapon, you're not sure if you believe that. You think somebody probably could have crafted something along these
Mhm.
lines, and there's probably just a mythology behind it. But what you know about it is that this weapon literally changes, the effectiveness of its magic dependent on the cycles of the moon.
Mm.
When it's a
Ooh.
full moon, the weapon has a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls, a critical threat
Damn.
range of 19 to 20, and the sword
Ooh.
emits a bright light of the full moon in a 20-foot radius at all times.
Mhm.
On any other cycle that is not where the moon is completely and totally obscured, it is a +2 and it does not have the critical threat range. And on any cycle where the moon is not showing, it's just a +1 weapon.
Still great.
On this cycle of the moon, it is just a +2 to attack and damage.
Which is still good.
All right.
Yes.
So we're just gonna sit here and see what gets summoned every single.
We're sitting here for 8 days.
We're sitting here for the month,
you
guys.
know the effects of what it is. Like you don't even really have to wait. You just know. That said, there's a caveat to all this. You know that the blade itself is effectively worthless during the day.
Hmm.
It's just a normal weapon.
Oh shit. Wow. So it really is only good at nighttime.
I mean, to be fair, we usually travel mostly at
We
night.
travel a lot at night, so it works out.
I say, so if that's what we got on this cycle of the moon, imagine what we get on a full moon.
I don't think it's a lottery. I think it's like the deity chose that we happen to be at this spot at this exact moment.
All right, I will go
Um,
back. I will grab, obviously keep it on me for the time being since everybody's sleeping. I will go back to my sentry's rest and just continue to keep an eye out for anything and everything. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna go refill my drink.
Okay, are you leaving the blade there or are you taking it?
No, I'm taking it.
Okay. All right. You see Ed Gendry,
I don't
you
want
just
it
grab the blade and
disappearing.
you kind of teeter off.
I don't want that sucker disappearing, and I don't want to wake anybody up. So
Okay.
to disturb anybody. So
All right.
Bro's gonna take off with it.
Gendry is not there in the morning. He is gone.
Gendry vanishes.
Give me 1 second. I think the storms just hit here and it's coming down like crazy. Give me 1 second.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a refill really quick.
It looks like by the time the storm gets by us over here, it'll be died down, which is nice. Because I was looking at our map for where we're at.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking outside right now and it's just totally overcast. I wonder if anything. You take this blade.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm gonna go back to Sentry's Rest. Keep an eye out if I gotta warn anybody about anything crazy going on or anything.
Okay. All right. As you go about, I just realized you're not proficient, so it automatically on your character sheet is like, no, you don't get any bonuses.
I'm not
that's
keeping
ridiculous.
it.
That is absolutely ridiculous. I just
You don't
noticed
know.
that. I can't believe I never saw that before. It literally says +0 to hit on here. Oh, the reason it says +0 to hit is because of your strength there.
Mhm.
Is this a strength-based weapon? Is that what this says?
Oh, that would suck. I thought it was
No,
dexterity
it's
based.
not.
I thought they were
It's not
dexterity.
it is dexterity based, but for some reason that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's supposed to be finesse.
Click
Oh,
Clack
it's
needs
not
to
marked
come
as
back.
finesse. That's why.
We have so many good
Shame,
things to teach
shame.
him now.
There we go. So finesse, now you get a +5 to hit. Big difference. Big difference.
Big diff.
Yeah. That's a goof on my end for not marking finesse on there.
Which
Damn,
actually
your
isn't
finesse
too.
is that high, Gendry?
I was gonna say, which is actually isn't too bad actually. For
My dexterity's trash.
Disregard that. But I the golden bandy stuff. I just am trying to. It wouldn't let me when I popped it out. It wouldn't let me like look at it, but fully what it was.
hmm.
Who was it? Oh, okay.
So something's wrong with what I just gave to you for on your character sheet for the Moonblade.
Mhm.
I'm trying to fix whatever the fuck it is right now. I apologize. But anyways, I'm sorry. What are you guys doing? You wake up fully rested, and yes, I already rolled random encounter tables.
Oh
And
no!
nothing has happened. You guys seem to be perfectly fine. You're good.
Bolrin was using his wolf as a pillow.
Timber
You
was
just
using
hear
a
it
really
grunting
comfy rock.
occasionally.
Yeah. Very Bolrin just wakes up very rested, like, oh, I was so comfortable.
You see, Bolrin sees Timber in the corner fluffing his rock.
As this is going on and you guys all awaken, you could see that, daylight is starting to come through the cracks in the door. You also notice that it is still raining ceaselessly. That has not stopped at all. The altar is back to showing a continuous glow on it, and you can see that what you had seen previously with the glow of everything that was there has now ended and faded and no longer exists.
All right, Timber will go ahead and start the morning with the good berries.
Okay.
Oh, I just water now. I can make myself breakfast.
I can make delicious water. All right. Okay, so the two of you combined, your powers combined, the party is fed and has quenched their thirsts for the entirety of the day. Eventually, you'll run out of spell slots.
Nah,
And when
before
that
we
day
get to
comes,
sleep.
I'll be able to say you're starving.
Oh wait, you can create food and water. Well, fuck. Then I'm not going to use my good berry.
I think it's a really, really high level spell to do that, though. I think it's a third level spell.
If we use good berry, then we don't have to eat for a whole day.
That is true.
Yeah, and I do have. So I mean, it's up to you, Lucy. If you want to use create food and water, you're more than welcome to. I mean, we get 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water. Holy
Jesus
shit!
Christ.
All right, so
Yeah,
that
well,
way,
considering the average person goes through about like half a pound of food per meal or a pound of food per meal. I mean, that's enough for days and days.
unless you want
How
to
long
wait
does it
until
last for?
it lasts, let's see. It spoils after 24 hours. The water.
Oh,
So do you want to wait until the good berries are gone, or we don't have water though?
yeah.
Isn't there a spell just called? Can we just create, destroy water or whatever?
You
I
could
don't.
you, uh, you could always
But
purify food and water.
I would
You
say,
guys
but
could
you
collect some
have.
water and then purify it.
Could we not just use create food and water, use the excess food as when it spoils, can't you just then use your spell to purify food and water?
I don't know if I stocked that, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Can we use that?
That's a
Can we
good
do that?
question, actually.
That's very ingenuitive. I never really. It says it specifically. It spoils after 24 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spoils if uneaten after 24 hours.
And what does purify food and water do specifically in the spell description?
It's posted.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. That's my bad.
Oh, all non-magical food and drink within a 5-foot radius.
Oh, the purify food and water. Yeah, that's got the create food and water.
Purified and rendered free of poison and disease.
Free of poison and disease. So it doesn't unspoil rotten food.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Darn.
So,
It's a
yeah. There's no getting around the old DM here.
Well, I would say, Lucy, I'd much rather you have your third level spell slot. I'll use the good berry, and then I have a bucket of water that you can just purify.
Boom.
I don't here have that stock.
Oh.
Boom.
Out.
Well, we just woke up. Could we just switch the spells? Or it's up to
Technically, yeah.
you. I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. But
It's just
I
just grab create or destroy water.
Or should I do purify food and drink? Or create. Okay, let's do create. Destroy. Do you want create or destroy water, or do you guys want?
If you did create and destroy water, you could fill everybody's water skins up.
Okay, then
You
that's
can do a 30-foot cube, 10 gallons of water.
we can all take a bath.
Yeah, give everybody a bath.
We're all not just drenched in this red blood rain.
Wait, we don't have prestidigitation?
Timber,
Yes.
how dexterous are you?
Timber.
Are you like a +5?
Well, actually, you know what? To be fair, I gotta actually check.
Did you min-max?
I am very dexterous. Dexterous. I'm not
bitch.
smart, but I'm dexterous.
Because I probably won't ever take advantage of this.
He's monodextrous.
I will
I'm-
pull out the moon sword from my bag,
Okay.
and I will.
As you pull it out, it has stopped any kind of illumination.
Yep.
It is now just appearing to be a normal scimitar.
I'll hold it out with my finger as it's bouncing. See, perfectly balanced.
You realize it's lost a lot of its allure.
Too heavy on the back end.
You realize it's lost a lot of its allure now that it's not glowing and magical anymore. But it still looks like a sight to behold. It is perfectly balanced, and you can tell that there's a great deal of time and effort that went into creating such a thing.
Sure. Timber will take it and also ask, when did you get this?
I stuck around and I found it.
Timber looks at you with a very sly eye. Your ass ain't, your metal ass ain't sneaking anywhere, but he'll give you a wink. Sure. Okay.
No,
but yeah, Tim will. Oh,
haha, I made a joke.
God, I'm coughing out, Kyle.
This altar that we were quite interested in, I decided to watch it throughout the night, and well, this is what has appeared. And I'll explain exactly what it does since I identified it to him.
Oh,
My
sick.
wolf.
Is your dire wolf supposed to be a large creature?
Yeah,
Okay, change that.
it's gotta be one larger. It's gotta be one size larger than the caster.
So
Mm.
gigantuan, because Boren is
Ooh, that's
huge.
Hey, I'm at the cusp of medium.
Jesus.
All right, now it's accurate.
And it just say Elpers.
God, that's
Just
a
imagine,
big
like, from-
fucking wolf.
Just imagine it looks like the one from
It's a big
Thor
beefy boy.
Ragnarok.
So it's like that wolf is like the size of a horse, essentially.
Effectively.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, it's about a horse-sized wolf.
If you want to
You just see a
move,
giant,
Giddy up!
you just
Seeing
see a
how,
giant man on top of it.
now seeing the largeness of this, I totally understand why it was growling at me, and I was just letting my hand be close to it as if it can just maul it for frontal.
Want to
Take
sniff?
my arm.
Maybe not.
I always forget that those character sheets have that.
God damn,
Okay.
it's big.
Oh, the trade feature, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and just so you know, like I said, you've got the +2 version of that now, but because it's daylight, it is effectively just a normal scimitar.
Yeah, I
So
get a
I
plus.
have multiple versions of that on basically here. What I'm going to do is
Just give me
I'm
it all.
going to give you every version of this, and when we go through,
Every night.
it's
What's the moon
by
tonight?
the way, this is supposed to be weightless, so that's a goof up on my end. I will go
That's
in here
cool.
and change this.
All good.
So yeah.
You'll
Yeah,
never
Kyle,
be
put it
encumbered.
this way: I have a +10 to attack with that thing.
Oh yeah, no, that's like I said. And as cool as a sword as that is, I will get no use out of it because I won't.
Yeah, that's why I gave up the
If
thing
somebody
to you,
gets
Gene. So
close-
I'm like, I'm never gonna use this
If
thing.
somebody's actually gonna get close to me, I'm bamfing out of there. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be
Right.
sticking around and. Oh, look at me yet again, running from people and not sitting far away and attacking from a distance. That is not how I play D&D. Always.
Noticing how light this blade is, Timber's gonna kind of step off to the side and kind of like, mess around with it, kind of get the ratio, down with it and how to use it. Especially since the only other sword that he has is the giant fuck off great sword, and then 2 short swords.
Yeah. Well, you God, you have a fairly large collection of this stuff right now. I just realized that.
I have a small arsenal with me at this point.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm a ranger that truly wants to be a fighter.
Wow. No, but okay. That said, you guys have come to the end of your long rest, and as you're looking around, you seem to have not had anything happen throughout the night. Your direwolf has been basically just vigilantly standing by and watching over just as much as Gendry has. As you're sitting there resting on it, it seems complacent. Um, while it's a newfound companion, kind of, you're still getting used to it a little bit.
Mm.
It's it almost greasy. It doesn't have, like a smooth, soft coat. It's very coarse, and something you would expect of a creature that's, basically used to dwelling in the wild. It's got a bit of a musk to it too. It doesn't smell the cleanest, but it is your dire wolf. Something
Nothing
to be
better than
said for
that
that.
dire wolf smell. Oh,
2 and a 10.
I just rolled 2
2
dice.
and a 10. Dope. Okay. What are you guys doing?
I guess we're heading out.
How
Okay.
close were we getting to the edge? Did you say? From what we?
You really weren't. You were going further into all of it, but you were hoping it would basically turn around and you guys would go on your way eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as you make your way out from, this Temple of Virith, you find yourselves back out in the Arboretum. And where you were just coming from, where everything was peaceful and secluded and quiet while you were in this solitude, you realize you're walking right back out into the horrors of the Arboretum. And the trees, if you can call them that, standing so close to this place, have eyeballs staring directly at you.
I still don't like those goddamn eyeballs.
Yeah. Like I had said, you guys are on this main thoroughfare that you can see. Obviously, it stretches off into the opposite direction from here, but it looked like everything was leading on this main road directly to this location. After having rested here, what else are you guys doing? You just heading
I
down this
do.
thoroughfare? You going into the back alleys? Are you going to try and find a different way around?
I do want to state that if we run into another Stitcher or what appears to be another temple, I'm curious if it's almost safe haven somehow.
If needed, I can pray to our God, my God, and she will guide us into what path we can take.
We will find a Stitcher and ask. It's okay. You can pray.
Damn.
Well, it will require a lot of magic, but still, I am offering for peace. And Alvarez will say, Andrew.
All right. Also, because Bullrun needs a reminder because he's old. What the hell are we looking for?
We're just trying to get the fuck through this place, I think.
Figure out
We're
what
still
the
trying to
heck's
get to the
going
center,
on.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to level.
Bullrun's going senile, guys.
What? So
What's my name?
the open road. When we found our way to this temple, we were taking more so back alleys, correct?
Yeah, and you just happened to exit onto this thoroughfare. You really never would have found it unless you had followed these back alleys.
From the way that the structures are set up, are they too high for us to truly see how far, like, the inner in the center of the city? Is there like is there like a giant tower? Is there like a cat, like anything that guides us, like, okay, it is still in this direction? Or are these buildings too high where we're kind of...
As you're looking around, you do see that there are some structures that extend up further. There's a handful of what look to be watchtowers, maybe from previous guards and whoever was, in charge of the city. And then there's a handful of taller buildings throughout that are scattered around the area. You think you could always probably climb up onto one of those and maybe see what's in the surrounding area based off of that.
You think we should gain a little bit of higher ground to figure out our path forward?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we should probably do that. Timber will proceed to use to show off his
Mhm.
dexterity and start to climb up.
Climb.
Okay, and so I'm not looking for, this is not for your ability to climb. I'm looking for your ability to do something else. I need an acrobatics check from you.
I'll give you
Uh-oh.
guidance. So it's an extra D4.
How does new guidance work again? Kyle sent it.
You have to pick
Oh, no.
what you
Okay. So
what
that is a
ability.
failure on what I am going to ask from you.
I got
And
a
it's no
4.
longer a failure. So as you're sitting there and you're climbing up the side of this building, you actually manage to get to the top where there is some, roofing tiles that are there. It's just ceramic or clay that these have been crafted from. And as you go to climb up and get onto it, your hand goes directly through a grouping of them, and you watch as they just collapse inward from age or deterioration. And you've been climbing your way around these almost grasping vines of this flesh that's been growing there. And you've been doing your due diligence in keeping the hell away from it. It hasn't really touched you at all in your climb up. By the time you do get to the top, I am making a roll right now that is incredibly important.
Okay.
The big bird comes
So,
down and sees you and swipes you away.
That's what I'm scared of.
okay, this is what you do see. When you climb to the top of this roof, you're realizing you're able to look from this section of the city into what looked to be the upper tier of the next section of the city. And you while you can't physically see the buildings there, you can see them poking out from above a rampart wall, this partitioned section that's there. And in addition to that, you see what appears to be something very large flying through the sky
Oh God.
in that area. You
Does it
feel
look?
very exposed being on this roof.
Does the? I would like to try and be as stealthy as I can at this point in time.
Okay, you lay
Um,
flat on the roof where the edge is.
But I do want to peer up and see, is it that the flying figure? Does it look like the vulture-like figure we saw previously, or that I've seen previously?
The very large one that's been flying around, yes.
Cool, cool,
After
cool,
a
cool.
brief observation, it's just basically soaring around. It hasn't made any kind of particular move towards you. You think you probably acted quickly enough to get down and stay hidden that it's not going to be an issue. But this is what you see in the surrounding area while you've climbed up here. You
Okay.
can see that further out from here, basically right back the way you came, seems to extend out into another section of the arboretum. This one seems to be particularly focused on buildings more than plants. And while where you're at right now seems to be, a reflective of, a basically a large amount of trees cascading through the area, in addition to some planters and things of that nature that were once housing something else entirely. That next section of the arboretum seems to be very secluded in comparison, and it doesn't seem to have that motif of plants in it as heavily as the rest of what you're seeing. As you look beyond that, you're seeing a drastically large amount of trees poking themselves out from, above these buildings. And when I say trees, I use that word very loosely because as you're looking at them, you can see these monstrously large growths of bark that have basically extended off to have tree limbs that, even at a distance, something looks off about them. They look more sagging or almost whip-like in nature in comparison to any kind of strong tree limb made of wood. And it makes you uneasy just looking at it, even at a distance. Um, as for everything that was behind you, where you were coming through the back alleys, you see that looks to be an extensive, almost maze from where you had come from. You think you probably just happened to meet a conclusion coming out this way and finally walking your way into the thoroughfare. It looks like there's plenty of other exits that would have made their way into here, but it also looks like there's a lot back there you haven't looked into.
Okay, so the area that has more of the trees, that has the extensive amount of growth.
Yes, that seems to be
Okay.
basically beyond where you were originally trying to go. That's actually
And
further than where you were originally trying to go.
okay. And from this building I can see into the upper level, or I can see the
You
upper
you
level
can
walls.
see the buildings poking out above the
Okay.
wall that's going into the upper level over there.
Do I see any area of this upper wall that would provide us an opportunity to scale, or looks damaged enough to where we can get through from my point of view?
From what you're looking at, this wall extends roughly about 60 to 70 feet up. And whereas your companions sitting down on the ground, they could see the wall. Like there's no getting around it. If they look up and they look past the buildings, they're going to see portions of it. But what you're seeing right now is, again, like sections of building on this upper tier actually extending above that. What you're also looking at is the fact that there seems to be holes in the wall, and what you think you're looking at is possibly the equivalent of like arrow slits or other small openings where there might be a tunnel going through that section, or possibly up based on what you're looking at, like a staircase.
Okay, so it has an opportunity for us to potentially get through.
You believe so?
Okay, is from this vantage point, can Timber potentially get a rough idea or roughly map out where we can get from this point to the upper wall that has those
Okay, so you
potential?
essentially want to make your way over to this area and get out of the arboretum.
Yeah, I mean, our ultimate goal is to end the to figure out what's going on in the Nameless City, but I don't think there was any goal for us to like end whatever the hell's in the Arboretum, right, guys?
No, we're just. I believe we're just trying to get through,
Okay.
and we know that each section is ran by somebody different, and essentially,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of like little mini kingdoms within the city.
Yeah, I'm starting to think further into those little mini kingdoms. Like they're all after each other, but like if we go after the big bad, are they gonna all unite against us in the end? Like that's the other thing I'm thinking. Sorry, table talk, my bad. Um, sorry. So yeah, Timur's gonna try and visually map out two things. Let me give the
Okay.
group two options here. One, to the upper wall where there has the opportunity for us to squeeze through.
Okay.
Not trying to go above it because the flying demon vulture. And two, I want to map out the route to go to those trees also.
Okay. So you would probably have to go through the area with the buildings that I'd spoken of previous to those trees in order to get through there.
Oh, okay.
And and so basically it's a large conglomeration of these buildings that are all essentially stuffed together. And you like I said, there seems to be a lack of, trees specifically. You can still see some sort of fleshy rot hanging off some of those buildings. And it basically covers a large portion of them. You can see it extends all the way up to the roofs and everything else. And so it doesn't seem to be devoid of it. It just seems to be lessened in that area. And looking over that, you're not entirely sure what the purpose of those buildings are. but there seems to be, like I said, some sort of reason for them being there. You're not entirely sure what it was. Some of the buildings there are much larger. It could be a meeting hall of some kind or a gathering place. Maybe something else. You can't really quite piece it together. You're just having thoughts on the matter. And then as it extends past that and goes into the actual, arboretum where trees, are pretty much present all over, you realize that's probably the heart of the arboretum. Mapping an area out that way, you would have to basically go back into the back alleys or just start climbing over buildings in order to get your way there.
Okay, I will go ahead and map those out. I'll go back down to the group and present them with the two options we have, and see what the group wants to go forward with. And I'll pass along the information.
Okay. All right. What are you guys doing?
I vote for. So I feel like if we're worried about coverage, we might head for those trees.
I'm not
Might be
against going
worth
to
it.
the trees.
Especially with that thing flying around.
It does provide cover. And a lot of firepower.
Yeah. It'd be a little crazy of us to just run through without some protection.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, Miles. We can make it to the upper walls by going through those like possible tunnels or something, or leading the stairs up, right?
Yeah, you would just have to find them.
Upper
Gotcha.
decker.
Mick Gruber.
Turkey. I was gonna say you got what I was talking about.
Oh my god. When I first watched that movie, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I watched like 4 or 5 more times. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Turkey.
I don't think anybody was expecting that scene.
I sure as hell wasn't.
For those of you who have never seen the movie, he's like big on throat ripping, and when he does 3 in a row, he's like turkey.
You going for the turkey? Oh god. Yeah, so sounds like we're gonna go through trees.
Okay.
I'm cool with that. Timber will go ahead and lead the group towards our inevitable doom.
It's like a Gandalf moment where everybody's like, "We shall go through the mines of Moria," and Timber's just sitting there like, "We are so fucked."
We're gonna get you don't know what I see. That shit looks fucking scary. But let's do it anyways. Hey, we meet a Balrog. We meet a Balrog.
Okay.
Did you?
So,
Okay, sorry. Lord of the Rings tip here, guys. I never knew this, but I didn't know that Gandalf actually had one of the Rings of Power.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't either. Which one did he have?
It was one of the few that Kellen Brimborn made early on, that would not corrupt the people.
Wow.
So it was him. It was the Elven King, and there was one more that had one of the Ring of Powers too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found that out. I'm like,
He just
no shit. No wonder Gandalf was such a fucking badass.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the show Ring of Power hasn't gotten to that point yet, which I think they're leading to it.
I haven't seen that.
They're
show.
working
I'll
on
just
it
go off
though.
and just
They're
nerdy.
they're getting to that point though.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really love the game Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. So like, I know
Hell
all the,
yes.
dude.
Fucking,
Get this.
oh my
Sorry,
God.
I'm completely derailing our session here, but
No,
but get this.
you're fine.
They're amazing, most sophisticated Nemesis system that they ever built.
I'm pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, fantastic. They fucking EA fucking not was it EA or Ubisoft?
I think it was
Whoever
Ubisoft.
the Ubisoft, they fucking trademarked it for 10 years. No one in the industry can use that again without Ubisoft's rights.
Disgusting.
It's fucking not until 2036 or 2032. Sorry. Are we able to see any game use that Nemesis system, which fucking sucks because it's so good.
Yeah.
Money.
back on
Well,
top.
I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of copycats of like Claire Obscura and that, you know
Oh,
what I mean,
that
and,
was
yeah.
so good.
and all sorts
God.
of other shit like that.
Oh,
I'm
so
gonna
good,
love
though.
it.
Fuck.
I'm gonna love it. I mean, if they can copycat the process and just make it in different style of games, I'm cool with that, man. That's why we need different games like that. Spice up the
Yeah.
genres.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, okay. Do you survival check?
Yes, I do need one in order for you guys to progress.
All of us or just Timber?
It's basically whoever's leading.
Do I get advantage now that there's a wolf?
I mean, he could.
Does the
he could
wolf
get,
have a survival check?
the
Guidance.
wolf has stats, but it doesn't have a stat block for all the abilities. But it has main stats.
If the wolf had skills and
It doesn't have
survival was
skills. It just has basic
Ah,
blocks
okay.
for stuff.
Greywind's a chump.
Fair.
He's a chump.
Which is weird
He's
because,
big.
like, my wolf. He's just survival.
Oh no,
So close to a
Timber.
20.
Timber, you're going through the back alleys that are here, and you find yourself, oh, whoops. You see a puddle.
Stab it.
No, but seriously, as you realize you're trying to backtrack to go back to where you originally were in order to get to a cross section that was just a four-way, and you think that's probably going to be your best bet, and you realize very quickly you've taken a wrong turn. I am going to make some rolls here.
Oh no.
Oh,
We're cooked, chat.
Sorry, guys, I suck.
no.
I
Cook-
blame Greywind.
Chat. He didn't do nothing wrong. I mean, I was gonna say he
That
could potentially give you
rotten
that. He could
bastard.
give you the help action for advantage because I mean he could technically just help like by sniffing or like looking out. Like I don't see because technically can't companions do that? They can give the help action.
You can. So the way I've always worked it in my campaigns is if you have the proficiency in the skill and someone else has the proficiency in the skill, then you can give them the help action if you have the skill. If you don't have the skill and someone else does have the skill, that person would ultimately make the roll if they were trying to attempt whatever is going on. So it would I do it to give people the spotlight effectively and make their character more important than other people's characters with certain skill checks, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Ultimately, anybody can do anything. It's just it makes it more thematic character wise, I guess, in this sense.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you guys don't like that ruling, we can always go with, hey, you guys can just take advantage if the party decides, hey, we're going to help you. We're going to try and find this and everything else. But I look at it in this kind of a sense. You're a Green Beret, right? And you're used to traveling around in the wilderness and doing these things. Like if I walked out next to this guy and I was like, I'm going to help you make your way through this jungle, I would be like, I don't know the first fucking thing about what I'm doing.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I
Fair.
genuinely, you know what I mean? Like there realistically there comes a point when it's like if you don't know at least a little about something, it's not really going to be helpful. But then again, you guys are used to traveling around and doing things. And I mean there could be a counter arguments for all this. But
And we have
so
inspiration.
I'm
Oh
pulling
yeah.
something up. Here we go.
We're just debating.
Just looking at
We're talking about
something.
if my wolf can give advantage or not.
Okay. Just looking at something. Nothing is happening. No reason for any of you to panic. Let's see.
Panic.
Okay. So Timber, you realize you've taken a wrong turn. And as you're trying to get everybody back on track, you're just doubling back from where you came from. And in doing so, something very strange is going on. And all of you pause. You hear something. And it sounds like maybe somebody stumbled and knocked something over, or something else has happened. It sounded like something collapsed, like maybe some wood got pushed around, or a roof collapsed. You can't really place what the sound was. All you know is it happened, and it happened a short distance away. What are you all doing?
Mm, fetal position.
Timber wants to go check it out because knowing that this place is not home to the undying, it's got to be someone or something that's living.
Okay. All right, Timber, are you just taking off?
No, I'm gonna look at everybody and kind of put my finger up to my mouth and shh, and I'm gonna come on, we're gonna go this way.
All right.
And sneak
Everybody
that
give
way.
me a roll for a stealth check.
Lauren just looks down. Fuck.
Let's go stealth.
Old
I have
Bolrin gets the disadvantage.
Oh. Oh
Ooh,
no.
it was almost an 18.
Almost 19. I have a plus
All
one.
right, Bolrin's trying to hurry along behind all of you guys, and it's just like clunk, 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 splash, clunk, clunk, splash, clunk, clunk, splash.
Well, are you riding your wolf or are you next to your wolf?
Ooh,
Ooh, that's a good point.
Honestly, I don't
fine.
know what I'd be. I think honestly, I'd probably be off him at this point. Because I think the idea was to try to have him helping you.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll for your wolf as well.
Alright, so because he doesn't have skills, it's d20 plus dex, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So he has a plus one.
Okay. You and him are one and the same. He's a big boy, and he's just kind of plodding along. He doesn't really feel the need to stay hidden.
Oh, good.
Um, as he ends up, making his way along with you, the two of you are shockingly similar in that you're just big and lumbering, and you're kind of moving into things, and everyone else is saying mostly hidden. There doesn't seem to be any real concern. As the three of you turn around and look at Bolrin and this wolf, you're like, "What the?" They're just. I mean, they're a mess. Like you guys are gonna get picked out immediately if you go anywhere with them right now.
Makes
Um.
sense.
Anyways, as you're seeing this happen, you guys all start to creep forward a bit, and Timber, as you're coming around a corner, you realize the noise that Bolrin and Greywind have made. It, it kind of doomed the scenario from the start of you trying to hide from anybody. You hear someone or something stumbling around this marketplace that you come into where the cross section is. And at first, you're not sure what it is. And then you realize whoever or whatever this is coming towards you, all of you, from the noise that was made from Bolrin and Greywind. And it seems to be almost too late. Are you going to try and do anything here? The three of you have the opportunity but like, you got a feeling Bolrin as well as Greywind are kind of doomed here.
Leave him behind.
You could literally scatter and just jump off into these alcoves, and no one would be the wiser.
Yeah,
But you feeling with the way Bolrin and Greywind are, they're kind of like dead targets.
but I actually might actually do that. Is kind of hide myself in a little alcove or whatever. Kind of getting ready. If it's some
Okay.
hostile, undead, or creature, I will have I would
Can we jump
say
up?
I would have something simple like Mind Silver readied, just in case it looks to be a hostile creature.
Okay. Is anybody else taking any actions here?
Can we jump into an alcove?
You can. I'm
You're
gonna
our
make this
bait.
comical though.
Oh, I'm the bait. Never mind. Me and the wolf. I'll just jump on. I'll jump on my wolf.
Okay.
I'll cast
Yeah, Timber will slip.
Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Lucy?
I'll cast spiritual weapon.
Oh, you already cast
Okay.
spells.
Okay. Already on top of it. Shit. And then Timber, what are you doing?
Not the first level.
Oh, never mind. I won't. Just kidding.
You could have it
Timber,
prepared if you want.
Timber will slip into one of the alcoves as well.
Okay. You're basically hunkered down next to one of these giant masses of, growth and flesh. And all of you, with the exception of Bolrin, who just hops up onto his wolf, you see as he tries to back up a little bit before whatever this is starts to approach, and you see what looks to be a humanoid figure come around the corner into this market, and you hear somebody say, "Help! Help!" And you can see as they're just stumbling forward, they keep falling down, trying to go forward, and they're just weakly calling out.
I
Can
roll
I?
insight.
I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say. Can I?
Do we recognize the voice?
You do not. I mean,
Can
you've
I tell if
never,
this
you don't
person
even know who the hell is this.
actually in distress or if it's something that
Everyone
they're
else is in the
trying
midst
to
of
escape?
hiding right now, Bolrin. Go ahead and give me an insight check just based off of a roll.
I have a +1.
Can I also
What are you
roll
trying to
my-
determine here with your insight?
So I wanted to see if I can tell if this is a genuine plea for help or if it's them trying to put on some.
Your sense of empathy here is kind of lacking, only because you're a firm believer. Most, if not everything else in this city besides yourselves is, the undying in one way or another, or it's something even worse. And as you see this humanoid come stumbling around the corner, you can see that it's this, what looks to be a wounded figure that's staggered. And you very quickly piece together, you can see what look to be the robes of one of the acolytes of the bitter flesh, except it's all torn up, and you can see there's the cowl is ripped to the side, and there looks like something's wrong with whoever this figure is. And as they start to get closer, as they say this, your wolf is taking kind of a step back here, not really knowing what the hell to expect. And you see something fairly disturbing. As you're seeing this, the body of this figure is shredded in sections, like something horrible attacked or mauled this acolyte. And you can see that he's barely managing to just stand up and keep moving. And the figure looks pale already, but most of the undying do.
Yeah.
And he looks up at you, and you realize something's wrong almost immediately. As you look at his face, you can see what looks to be those fleshy growths growing out of it. And he holds a hand up towards you and he says, "Please help me."
Does it look like the trees?
It kind of does. In a sense, it looks more like the fleshy masses of like vines and other plants. It doesn't particularly look like the trees themselves.
I kind of pull back on. Oh, sorry, my brain just went. I kind of pull back on Greywind, so that he kind of pulls back a few feet.
Okay.
And I say, "Acolyte of the bitter flesh," and I kind of say it. I say it like I try not to be like obvious, but I say it like with like a little bit of a more tone to my voice, just so the others can hear, but like making it seem like I'm just trying to have them hear me. Acolyte of the bitter flesh, what has happened to you?
He says, I am an acolyte no more. And you see, as he tries to rip whatever this is away from his face, as it's like it's getting near his eye, and you see as he pulls on it and he throws some of it to the ground. And as soon as he does so, you could swear you see some of it grow back almost instantly.
What happens to the part
And
that hits the ground?
it just kind of sloughs off from his hand, and you can see as it just congeals on the ground and just sits there. It's not really particularly doing anything.
Okay.
And as he says this here, he says, "I am an acolyte no more." It startles you a little bit. You're not, you don't really know them for any kind of you know, we'll say they're not devout.
Yeah.
I mean, the other way around, they seem to be very devout in whatever their belief system is, and he seems to have contradicted that.
Are you turning into one of these things? And I point to like, if there, I'm assuming there's those little roots or areas that look like the individuals in the area.
He looks to you and he says, "It's it's the infection. It's it's spreading.
The infection. What infection?
It's." And you see he just stops for a moment and he looks to you and he says, "Can you help me?"
Hmm. Unfortunately, I do not have any spells that would help you. I don't know if anyone I know would be able to help you either. What would be in it for me if I was able to cure you?
I I might be able to help you through this place. He says, I know my way around.
Is he speaking loud enough for them to hear?
Oh yeah, he's not.
Because that's like
He doesn't even
Boren
know. He
speaking
doesn't
loud.
even know the other three people are there.
Boren
Inside
is.
check.
Okay,
Maybe
you're just trying to determine if he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
It kind of makes sense, Gendry. Actually, like the acolytes, if they're in this district and they're fairly, normal to it, and like they're running around all the time, he very well could know his way around.
And they mentioned they kind of run around this area as it is, don't they? If I'm not
That is
mistaken.
correct.
This was the area that the garden essentially, right?
Yes.
Would I know what kind of spell could help him being a paladin and
I
disease
mean,
being?
there's clearly a magical disease or an infection afflicting him. You might be able to lay on hands and possibly remove it, but you really don't know. It might require something stronger. It is a magical affliction.
That's true. Also, let me look at the new lay on hands ability because I know they changed it.
You know,
I can only remove poison conditions now
I'm I
Oh, bummer.
with a
I
5.
actually might come out,
Okay.
and I'll slowly approach and say,
I don't have the spell that would help because I can't prepare spell. Well, actually, I don't remember if I can or not.
What is this flesh? We got a sense of what it might somewhat be, but
I don't think he has enough time to tell us.
what exactly is it?
He looks to you, Gendry, and he realizes, you've been hiding. You come out, and he doesn't seem to be surprised by it. He just didn't know you're there. He doesn't really seem to have the energy to fight you off if you guys meant him any kind of harm.
Mhm.
But he looks up to you, and you can see, even in the current state that this undying is in, you can tell desperation is truly setting in. This is somebody who's dependent on having their sentience, and that seems to slowly be slipping away. And he looks at you. He says, "It's the tangled roots of the bloom mother." All of a sudden, you see his head whip around. He says, "I can hear her." And you see as his eyes go wide all of a sudden as he's looking on, and you see as he's frantically looking around for something none of the rest of you can hear.
Huh.
She's coming. And you see as he gets up and almost goes into a sprint.
Um,
Oh, I think we must hide. It's,
I'll go
w-
back
Are you
to
guys
my
chasing after
outpost.
this guy, or are you stopping him?
Wait,
well, the Bloom Mother sounds terrifying. So if he knows where he's gonna go and he's gonna hide somewhere, Timber is going to follow him.
Okay, you see as Timber like, fuck this. He just takes off after this guy.
and then Bolorin will yell out for Elfros. It's like, we're going. And he takes off on his wolf.
Okay.
all right.
As Oh, go ahead. What are you doing, Elbros?
Oh, I'm just running after him.
Okay, you it's not hard to catch up to him. And by the time you make your way partially down the street, you can see as he seems to calm a bit, and you see as he turns around and he looks, and all of you watch as where you were previously, what looks to be something the size of a tree trunk comes wriggling around the corner. You don't see what it's attached to, but you see as more of these tendrils start to worm their way out from the walls and slowly creeping along start to make their way towards you all.
Oh.
He starts into a sprint again and takes off.
Elfros, do you have anything that can help him?
Sorry, help who do what?
Help the
He
the guy
turns
get
around and he says, "You have to get it out. You have to get it out." And you see as he's just gripping onto you and he has this frantic glare in his eyes.
Oh, I get it. What you're saying.
Leave it.
I, 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 I don't have anything that can help you, but I'll say a prayer to Caitlin um, and hopefully that her and her wisdom.
As you say this and you say, you'll say a prayer, he says, "Damn your prayers." And you see as he pushes you away and just takes off again. And I don't know if you guys are following him, but he doesn't seem to care at this point if you're following him or not. As you all are making your way through these back alleys, you can see as he's just darting away.
I actually
And
don't want to chase him. I'm gonna
either.
I might actually hide because I feel like this is a high. I want to like as they're trying to follow. I want to say I feel this is a hive mind situation. He's already
Yeah.
he's already consumed.
Give up on him. Just protect ourselves.
He's undead as it is.
find our own way.
Okay.
If he's as we're running, if he's a hive mind, why is he running from it?
He's not fully integrated, but I think she can tell.
Exactly. So there's part of him that's still trying to get away. Why would we stay and try and fight something we have no idea what it is, and something that's coming out of the walls?
But it's gonna chase him until he dies, until it consumes him.
Why should we put ourselves in danger for
We don't have anything to
something
help
getting
him.
chased down?
Who says that it's not going to chase us down? It's trying to infect everybody. If he knows a way out, we might be able. The best bet is to follow him.
If he really could try to find a way, we bring one back to the temple.
I mean, gosh, do we know how far we are from the temple roughly?
Couple hours.
Oh, fuck.
Um,
Well, that doesn't do us any good.
I wouldn't be able to help him until tomorrow, possibly, and it's not even a guarantee.
As you're sitting there and you're discussing this, you see as around the bend that you just came from into the back alleys, you see as these wriggling tendrils start to make their way down the alley towards all of you.
I mean, are we running and talking?
You let me know.
Well, Timber would still be running and talking. If everyone stopped, you guys can stop, but Timber's not gonna slow down.
I would.
I actually might
Okay.
slow down and kind of try to go off kind of onto a side where I can remain
Okay.
kind of vision to see if these tendrils go past me or not, to kind of verify my thoughts.
Suspicions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, may I ask, with these tendrils, when they're coming out, are they coming out of the walls, or are they going in between the nooks and crannies, searching each piece?
It's actually something far more terrifying than that.
Oh,
You think that it's actually part of something much larger. That is just, you haven't really seen it in full view yet. It's that big.
Timber's gonna keep running.
Okay. Timber, you take off. Gendry, you see as he just pauses and he inserts himself into an alcove, watching.
God damn it.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check from Gendry.
Mhm.
This is going to be a big one, bud.
I'm just curious if it goes by me, if it more so cares about what it's already affected or not.
I gotcha.
Womp womp.
Okay.
I'll use the inspiration. Is this what you
Okay.
use it for?
Yep. So go ahead
I'll
and
get my
give me a
one back
roll.
anyways tomorrow.
Yep, and you don't waste it as long as if it's a success, then it's not wasted. If it's a failure, then you just keep it. Okay. So all right, is everyone else running with Timber?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I was
Are
trying
you
to
guys
track
going
Gendry.
after the other guy, or are you running off your own direction?
I'm going wherever. I'm just following Timber, talking to him as we're running.
Okay.
Well, I'm not running. My wolf's running.
Your wolf
yeah,
actually
so
is super fast.
60 feet.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So he's
It's
kind
a
of like
beast.
trotting, keeping up with you. He's like, "Doo, doo, doo, doo."
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna follow this guy up until, where I feel it's no longer safe. But I mean, if if he knows some sort of way to get out, I'm gonna keep following him.
Okay.
Actually, I do want to make sure, because I made mental notes on where the upper wall is and where the center of the heart is. If I feel that he's leading us to, because to make sure I remember this, guys. We want to go towards the trees, right?
That's what you had said, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he's leading us, I would say, well, I mean, if he's leading us to the trees, then fuck them. I guess we'll go that route. But I do want to shout, "Do you know where you're going?"
If you're following behind him, he looks back to you and says, "Anywhere but here." And you can see as he's just trying to go on, he might have one last surge of adrenaline in him because he doesn't look like he's going to make it much further. Gendry, as you tuck yourself into this alcove, you go completely still and inert. And you just watch. And you can hear as a tangle of squelches and slapping into puddles as you see whatever this is starts to make its way down the corridor of these market stalls and alcoves leading through the back alleys. And you can see the writhing mass of these tendrils starts with just a few and then goes into what looks to be almost tangled vines. There's so many. Whatever its true form is, stands taller than the openings that you're looking at. And as it travels along, it doesn't seem to notice you. In fact, it doesn't seem to care.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's probably 40 to 50 feet long. And by the time it makes its way past you, you think it would probably be very detrimental for you to move even now. That is where we're going to leave off for the night.
Sweet.
And you said the Gloom Mother is what he called?
He called it the Bloom Mother.
The Bloom
Yes.
Mother. Okay.
I don't like that.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys had fun. This was
Yes,
this
thank
was a very I'll say adventure heavy session without combat.
Which is fine.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good. We're just
yeah.
it's exploration. It's all solid.
Yeah.